another quick little craft fair goodie idea. Today we're going to make a treat holder that holds Hershey Nuggets. Again, my craft fair this year, I have the option for one of them to be indoors, and I took advantage of that. And so I wanted to try to make some little treat boxes. So first things first, you will need a piece of 6x6 cardstock, or you could use designer series paper or pattern paper if you didn't want to do like a belly band wrap, but I'm going to. So first thing is 6x6 piece of cardstock. Then for your wrap that's going to go around this is 3.5 by 6 3/4. I wasn't paying enough attention, and so I should have cut this the other way. So when it wraps, it's going to be kind of sideways, but I'll display it like this where the pattern's right. To cover your package, your little box, this is going to hold 6 nuggets, so you would need 6 of these, and these just measure 1 by 3. And if you didn't want to wrap those nuggets, you don't have to, but if you want to, then you need 6 pieces that measure 1 by 3. We're going to start with the wrap first. You can always dry fit this if you want to, or you can go ahead and do these measurements. So one of the first things first, I know that some paper trimmers numbers aren't always labeled very well, or people are kind of confused. So these the little tiny tick marks are 1/16 inches. So this would be 1 1/16. This is 1 1/8, 1 3/16, 1 1/4. Okay. So one of the measurements that we have today is 2 3/16. So that is 1, 2, 3 marks past the 2. I went ahead and did a little blue dot by each of these just because I was tired of counting each time. So I just put a blue little dot by them. So your first little score mark on the long side is going to be at 1 1/8. I had to think. And I'm using the fatter end of my stylus just because this particular paper I'm using today is copy-weight paper and I don't want to punch through it. And then the next measurement is at 2 3/16. So like I said, that is 1, 2, 3 tick marks past the 2. We're going to do that on that side, and then we're going to rotate our paper 180 degrees and repeat that. So 1 1/8 and 2 3/16. That part is done. So there's that. We don't need this right now. For the actual box, I'm going to use my envelope Punchboard by We Are Memory Keepers. I had one that was gray. I think that was one of the very first ones that they had. It actually died. I had used it so much that like the punch wouldn't cut cleanly anymore. So I got the new one, and the new one is like a white, and I really like it. So in order to do this, I don't know if you've ever used an envelope Punchboard before, but when you make a box with it, and even when you make an envelope, you're going to have the sizes up here. And what's nice is that this Punchboard actually labels 7/8, 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, half. It measures in eighths, which is really, really handy. It also has centimeters down at the bottom. But for our purposes today, we are going to have 2 marks and 2 punches. The first one is going to be at 2. So get it right on the 2, align one corner up at the 2, punch, and then this little notch right here is where you're going to run your scoring tool. This comes with a scoring tool. You can definitely use that, but I've got this in my hand, so I'm not gonna. The next one is at 3 1/8. So you're gonna scoot that all the way to 3 1/8, punch, and score. Now you don't need to remember the 2 and the 3 1/8 anymore. All you're going to do is align this notch right here with your score line, okay? So I've aligned this notch with this score line, and I'm gonna repeat. I'm gonna punch and score, and I'm gonna align this score line with this notch, and I'm going to punch and score. I'm gonna rotate it again. We're gonna end up rotating this 4 times, aligning notch with score line, punch and score, shift, punch, and score. Last time, we're going to punch, score, punch, and score. So this has a corner rounder on it, but it makes a deeper corner round than I want. You were actually done with this now, and it just gives you these little weird shapes. Those can go in the trash. So this is actually giving you your tabs. These little squares right here are going to be your tabs. Like I said, that Punchboard has a corner rounder, but it makes a deeper corner round than I want. It makes like this 1/2 inch round, and I want to do the corner, 1/4 inch. You don't have to do a corner round on it if you don't want to, but I think it makes it look a little nicer, so I am going to round all of these corners very quickly. This is my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper, but you can use any corner rounder you have. Like I said, you can also use the one that's on the Punchboard. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold and burnish all of these score marks. Like I said, I had one of these We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch boards, and for a while there, I was actually making my own envelopes for all of like my card kits that I sell on Etsy. Because I thought I was actually saving money, and once I actually sat down and did the math, I wasn't saving any money. Plus it sucked up a lot of time. And then I thought, well, I'll save time by doing it on my Cricut. No, it didn't work. So it was just cheaper to buy them pre-made. But I do keep that because it makes bows, boxes, envelopes. You can make several other different things, kind of side projects with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut straight up this score line, keeping it straight on this rectangle, and I'm going to lightly wedge into this square. So I'm going to cut on this rectangle and wedge just a tiny bit. And I'm going to wedge just a tiny bit here too. I'm going to do that over here, keeping it straight on the rectangle as best I can. Wedge into that. Wedge into that. We're going to repeat that on this other side too. So that is actually that We Are Memory Keepers punch board is actually a very useful tool. I really like a lot of the things that We Are Memory Keepers comes out with. I have their cinch. I have quite a few things from them. Their fuse tool. I did a video recently on that. All right, so this is all done. So the next thing we're going to do is actually glue this box together. So these are our tabs, and because they fold into the box, that's why we kind of mitered them a little bit, and they're just going to go like this. Okay, so I'm going to take some liquid glue, just because the liquid glue gives me just a tiny bit of wiggle room, which I need because I very rarely get things lined up well the first time. In fact, that like pretty much never happens. So I am a fan of the wiggle room, plus this makes it a little bit of a stronger hold. Not that these nuggets are like heavy or anything, but just gives it a more secure hold. So all I did was take this tight edge, so this scored edge, to this loose edge or the cut edge, and I'm just lining them up, trying to make sure that there's no nothing like that where one edge hangs over a lot, but also trying to make sure that there's no gap either. Just hold that for a second so it can adhere, and then we've got that. So we'll repeat that on this other side. And one more time right over here. Okay. And that is a little box done. So here is our little wrap. So this is, like I said, some very copyweight paper, pattern paper. And so I really don't want to burnish the heck out of it, because I really don't want to rip it. And that's also a reason why I use the fatter end of my stylus, just because I didn't want to rip it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some 1/4 inch dry adhesive or score tape, and on one end, just going to apply a strip of that, and then I'm going to actually do it to where the seam is up facing me, just for now. When I actually adhere that down, I will flip the other way. Where's my, there it is. This little craft pick has been a very handy tool as of late. All right, so peel that backer off. I'm going to set this in the middle, and I am going to put the side that does not have the adhesive down first, and then put the side that does, or no, excuse me, I'm going to put the side that has the adhesive down first, and then the side that does not down second. And I didn't do like make it super duper tight, just because I want this to still be able to slide off fairly easy. So there is the little wrap for it. And you could, you know, put a little Velcro dot or a dot of, what's it called? A glue dot there if you wanted to keep that closed better, but I don't think that's necessary. So the next thing that I'm going to do So like I said, this holds 6 Hershey's Nuggets, and you kind of have to put those in there a little different. The next thing I'm going to do, this is our wrap for our nugget. So I have the 1/8 inch score tape, and I'm just going to pick one end of our 1 inch by 3 inch pattern paper. I'm going to peel that backer off, and I'm going to take my nugget and I'm going to pick up my paper here. This is the side that has my glue. I'm going to fold this around. The side that does not have the glue, I'm going to fold that around and then meet it in the back. Trying to kind of line things up as best I can, but it doesn't really matter. And then that is it. So it holds 6. So I will show you how it does so. And it holds 6 just like that. So long ways, tall ways, long ways, and then reversed. Then you close it up. Your little belly band goes over the top. And there's your little package. You can decorate this, put a little sentiment on the top if you wanted to. I may actually do that. You could even tie a ribbon around it if you wanted to, but that is the basics of it done. And I appreciate you spending time with me. This project was inspired by the Paper Pixie here on YouTube, and I will link her video below. She does some really great boxes, and this is one of them that I have found that I really like. So that is the video for today. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and we will see you next time. Bye.